Welcome to Math Lesson 3.2. Interpret the remainder. I can solve a division problem and interpret the remainder in the context of the problem. Step it out. Number 1. A land surveyor rolls a wheel device on the ground to measure distances. Each full turn of the wheel measures 14 inches. The surveyor measures 1,617 inches of land. How many turns of the wheel are needed to measure the distance? So we're going to get our information. 14 inches, 1,617 inches. How many turns of the wheel are needed? So what is going to be our division problem to represent that?
1,617 divided by 4.
Divide and write the whole number quotient and remainder. So what's the dividend? What goes in the house?
1,617.
The divisor is 14, right? Okay, so 14 into 1? 14 into 16? 1 minus 14, 2, bring down the 1. 14 into 21? Minus 14, 7 left over, bring down the 7. 14 into 77, 5 times. So 5 times 4 is, so put a 0, mentally carry the 2. 5 times 1 is, plus 2 is, and then there's 7 left over. So so it's 115 remainder 7, right? Okay, so we have 115 as our whole number. Now, since we're using measurement, we can't say remainder 7 inches. Okay, so what can we use when we measure things? What have you seen on a ruler? Like 1/4, half inches. So you've seen fractions, right? Okay, so we'll write the remainder as the numerator and the divisor as the denominator. So what can we make that into? It's 714, which we could have 714, but we want it as simple as 4. So 7/14 also equals half. So how many turns does the wheel take? 115.5 turns. So in this case, we weren't actually using the distance for our answer, but we can still put our answer in fraction form, right? Okay. Step it out, number 2. A large plot of farmland will be used for a new field. The seed that the farmers will plant on this field is sold in large tanks. Each tank can cover 72 acres with seed. How many tanks are needed to cover the entire field with seed? So we have 72 acres. There's 1,140 acres, and they want to know how many tanks are needed. Represent the situation using a division problem. Okay, so what's our division problem?
1,140 divided by 72.
Equals the number of tanks, right? Okay, so they already set it up for us. 1,140 is the dividend, and 72 is the divider. Okay, so 72 into 1, 72 into 11, 72 into 141, right? And try and keep everything lined up, right? So this becomes a 14, this becomes a 10, and this becomes a 0. 14 minus 2 is, hold on guys, I messed that up. So minus 72. 4 minus 2 is 2. This becomes an 11, and this becomes a 0. 11 minus 7 is 4. So you have 42. Bring down the 0. 72 into 42. 72 can be rounded to what? 70. 7 can go into 42, but 72 is a little bit more, so it would be 6. It would be 5. 5 times 2 is 0. Mentally carry the 1. 5 times 7 is, 1 is, this becomes a 12, this becomes a 3, so 60, right? 15 remainder, 60. So the seed is sold only in full tank. How many tanks must be purchased to cover the entire field? We're going to have to take our remainder because we can't just leave it, right? we're gonna have to round the quotient up to 1, right? So 16. How many acres will the seed from the last tank cover? So in this question, we need the remainder. So 60 acres. So usually when you're finding these, you need to decide, are you just using the quotient? Okay. Are you just using what full amount they need? Are you just using the remainder for what they have left? Are you having to go up 1? Or are you needing to make it into a fraction? Okay, so there's 4 questions you can ask yourself when you're trying to find the answer. Okay? All right, next one. Check for understanding. Number 1, Milo will cut 136-foot long roll of wire into 16 equal lengths for 50. He finds that 136 divided by 16 is 8, remainder 8. How long will each length of wire measure? So this is what he finds out for his answer, right, guys? And then we need to know, they want a length. So we said that that's probably going to be in what? So do you need to use the quotient? Do you need to use the remainder? Do you need to go up 1 or make a fraction? You need to make a fraction, right? Okay, so what's our whole number? No, they already worked it for us. We don't even have to show work. So 8, and then the remainder becomes the what of the fraction? The numerator of the fraction. So the remainder 8 becomes the numerator of the fraction, and what's the denominator? The divisor, 16, right? So it'd be 8 and 8, 16. But that needs to be simplified, right? To 8.5. What's my label? That's how long each section will be, right? Okay. Next one, Trina has 232 books to put onto shelves. Each shelf can hold 38 books. She plans to fill each shelf before starting the next one. She finds that 232 divided by 38 is 6, remainder 4. How many books will be on each shelf? Okay, so there's what she got, and they want to know how many books will be on each shelf. Now, can you take these books and cut them in half? No. Okay, so we need to decide, are we using the quotient? Are we using the remainder? Do we need to go up 1? Or are we making a fraction? This one you actually choose 2 of them. So which 2 are we going to use? The first thing we're going to use is the quotient, right? So how many shelves will have 38 books on them?
6.
Okay, so 6 shelves will have 38 books. Okay, and then what else do we need to use to help us answer this question? The remainder. So what does the remainder tell us?
It tells us that we need
We're going to have 1 more shelf, right? And it will have how many books? 4 books. So 1 shelf will have 4 books. So how many total shelves are they going to have to use? 7, right? 7 total shelves. On your own, number 3, a vitamin company produces 4,514 tablets every hour. A machine drops the same number of tablets into each bottle. How many bottles does the machine completely fill every hour? So this many tablets, this many in each bottle, and then how many bottles does it completely fill? So what is my dividend?
4,514.
So that goes to my house, divided by 63 into 4. 63 into 45. 63 into 451. So 63 can be rounded to 6, right? How many times does 6 go into 45? 7. Let's try it. If we need to, we can adjust it. 7 times 3 is the 1. Mentally carry the 2. 7 times 6 is plus 1 is so 20, right? So it'd be 42. Oh, plus 2. Yeah, it should have been plus 2. So this should have been 44, right? There we go. So 0, 1, bring down the 4. How many times does 63 go into 104? 1, right? Minus 63. 1 left over. This becomes a 10. This becomes a 0. So 41. So 71, remainder 41. So we need to decide, are we using the quotient, the remainder, go up 1, or make a fraction? We need to use the quotient, right? Because they want to know how many bottles are completely filled. So how many bottles are completely filled? 71 bottles. Number 4, reason to watch the same video. 294 employees will be arranged into conference rooms that each hold 30 people. The remaining people will watch the video in the cafe. How many people will watch the video in the cafe? So we have 294 employees, 30 people, and we're looking for how many people will watch it in the cafe. So what is my dividend? So my dividend that goes in the house is 294 divided by, my divisor is 30. Okay, 30 into 2, 30 into 29, 30 into 294. So 30 times 10 is what? 300. So we can just do 9, right? So that's what? 270. Okay, 4, 2 with 24 left over. So 4 remainder, or 9 remainder 24. Okay, are we using the quotient, the remainder, go up 1, or a fraction? What's our question asking us? How many people will watch the video in the cafe? So they have these conference rooms. So how many people are going in the conference room? Or how many conference rooms do they need? Sorry. 9, right? And so that's not really how many conference rooms they have, right? So how many people have to go into the cafe? 24. So you need to use the remainder, right? So 24 people. Number 5, attention precision. A fabric store orders 2,345 spools of thread. If each shipping box holds 84 spools, how many shipping boxes are needed for this order? Okay, so our total is 2,345, 84 spools. So number 5. Okay, what am I going to do for number 5? What's my divisor? Dividend.
2,345.
Divided by 84 into 2, 23, 234. So 8 can go into 23 how many times? 2 times. Okay. So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 8 is, this becomes a 14, this becomes a 12, and this becomes a 1. 14 minus 8 is 6. 12 minus 6 is, bring down our 5. 8 into 66. 8 times. 8 times 4 is, with the 2 mentally carry the 3. 8 times 8 is, plus 3 is, oh, so does that work?
No.
So this needs to become a what? 7. So 7 times 4 is 28. Carry the 2. 8 times 7 is 56 plus 8 is. So we got 27, remainder 77 for our answer. Do we need to use the remainder, use the root quotient, use the remainder, go up one, or make a fraction. Go up